Welcome to DP2 Insights. This is Pat DeLuca. On this video, we're going to take a quick look at Manage Images as a Chromakey workflow and kind of overview all those tabs. Manage Images is available to you from within the Order Data table with the Manage button, or it's available to you from the right-click menu in the Order Images window, in which case you could select just those images that you wanted to manage, or you could select the entire order from here. We're going to get to the Manage Images interface from the user taskbar. I'm doing that because that will bring it up empty, so that if this is the beginning of your Manage Images workflow, you can go ahead and, in this case, I'm just going to type in S because I'm using sample orders, sample order list. But I could have selected to just look at ones that were ready or that needed adjustment or that needed retouching and so on. Whatever step in the process I want to start with, I could have looked for owner. I could use the links to open up other tables and to identify other pieces of information. I can use the more link to get to the import, export, or navigate if this is the beginning of my order process and I'm bringing the images in directly from here. Once I have my image information, and in this case I just am double clicking, I can look at my images in a couple of different ways. I can, by selecting this box, when I open up and use the arrow, it's going to show me, give me a light table version of more of those images. If I deselect this box, it's going to allow me to look at those images in both the small thumbnail view and the larger thumbnail view, depending on what part of the process that I'm in. So the next tab, once you've got your order images, the next tab is the Key tab. The Key tab is the place in DP2 where we have access to the tools that will allow us to manage those masks. And if you remember, the mask is part of the metadata information in an image file. So we have the ability to cut, add, repair, and I'm going to talk about the Key tab in a separate video that goes through all these process steps, as well as its relationship to the Fix tab. We also have the ability here, if you're a lab that uses 36 pics, we have an integrated interface so that you can go ahead and seamlessly manage your 36 pics work. As well as we have the ability here, if you want to open up one of these files in Photoshop and be able to look at the mask as one of the layers. There's a 36 pics plugin that we can install in DP2 to do that. The View tab will allow you to look at these images in terms of a background. This is a way in which you can preview what it will look like with a DP2 background, what it will look like with a customer background or a subject database background. And again, we'll go through that in a separate video, because here you'll be able to not just see a DP2 background, but also customer backgrounds, which is part of the setup process for defining product types, defining which customer, what program, or what subject information will deliver those results. One thing to mention as well, when I went ahead and added these backgrounds, we have 4 icons here above these images. The green is the original green screen image, and I'll show you actually over here on the right. The green is the green screen image. The gray shows you that image with the mask against the gray. The white shows us the mask itself, and these are ones that I have not done any work on, because we'll do that as we go. The blue will show you that image against the background, and in this case, it's the background that I chose at the top of the DP2 background list. The Dust tab is going to allow you to dust bust. And dust busting, if you recall, is the ability to identify an anomaly or piece of dust or something in the background or whatever it is over a body of images. So I think the minimum amount of images is somewhere between 20 and 30. DP2 will analyze those images and go ahead and create the appropriate mask and the appropriate color changes. And again, this is something else that we'll go through in another video. Red Eye is a similar tool in DP2. This is the automated red eye. We do have the manual red eye in the toolbar when you're looking at individual images. This will allow DP2 to go through and identify the red eye, make the correction over a large body of images, just in the same way that we have other automated tools in DP2. The crop tab will allow you to select and use crops similar to the way you would in a right-click menu. In addition, it also gives you access to the setups, the head alignment and group balance setups. That there is another video that covers this interface and how these tools work. Actually, there's more than one. The Inspect tab is your ability, gives you the ability to take a look at all of the information that's associated with the particular image. So it's the image, subject information, order items in some cases. I'm not going to stop to maintain that, but it'll give you a good sense. And in this case, you can see we have different backgrounds that are specific to this particular image. The Setup tab is where we build relationships between a package or a product type, which is, again, it's that whole process is covered in another video. But we build relationships between the product types, our backgrounds, regardless of whether they are DP2 backgrounds or customer backgrounds. The subject information, so as an example, for a particular info type, right? This is all based on the subject information for a particular order or for a particular school. It really depends on how you organize. So that for the info type Chromakey, which is the one we're using here, for a particular package, you can see that background 1 is a customer background ID. So the last piece of this process is to develop those rules, which allow us to understand that for that customer ID, and in this case it's for any customer, for any program, but for a package, with my info type is Chromakey, that customer background is a gray-blue. And I'm not really sure why that's not showing. It should. There you go. I just had to click it. So there is a little tiny thumbnail of the portrait and landscape. You'll see there are two. One is portrait and one is landscape. But in DP2, I'm just identifying that name, and DP2 will understand in the table its orientation. The Admin tab allows you to identify who sees what, so that if you have operators and you're an administrator and you're trying to simplify workflow, you can go ahead and for a particular operator, for a particular workstation, or for system-wide, you can make it so that some of these tabs can be hidden. So they're only seeing the steps that they need. The Fix tab is the tab that's used, and I need to go ahead over here and select that icon so we can see those. The Fix tab allows you to modify calibrations, save calibrations, remember current, and there's a series of tools here that are also, there's a video that kind of goes through the tools and explains how it is that we use those tools to go ahead and modify the background. And just as an example, I'll clean up a little tiny bit of background noise. Generally speaking, you want to be in high resolution mode. I'm going to go ahead and I'll make this a little bigger so that I'm sure. Or maybe actually in this case, I can clean foreground noise. So in this case, what I want to do is select the area that I want the mask to make sure that that's transparent. Or opaque, depending on which part of the process you're in. And that is a very high-level Manage Images workflow. Thank you.